Welcome back. This morning, a St. Clair Shores teenager is in serious condition after a bike accident on Friday afternoon. But her family is now by her side some 17 hours after trying to identify this mystery victim. It's a story that had many parents wondering, how could this happen? It turns out the girl wasn't expected home until late that night, and her mother was working the midnight shift. Of course, this whole situation is any parent's worst nightmare, but there are some things that parents can do and learn to prevent this from happening. A little pre-planning may have made the difference, and joining us this morning is Macomb County Sheriff Anthony Wickersham. Sheriff, this little girl, she wasn't carrying any identification. How important is it that your child have some sort of identification?
Well, you look in today's age, you know, identification, having there's a little piece of identification to carry about you on your person. You know, cell phones are usually the key.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of times when we run into individuals that have no identification on them and they're injured some way, you know, we look into the cell phones and, you know, we'll call the last number and we're able to identify a person that way. But again, not all kids have cell phones.
Sure.
And in this situation here, again, it was a tragic situation. You know, we see now that there are some importance into providing identification to your child and putting some measures in place. I think that's probably the key, that if your child is heading to a location, that once they get there, maybe there's a plan put in place, that a phone call is made, hey, I arrived safely, and then when you're departing, you know, I'm leaving, you know, then we can you can judge it's going to be a 20-minute ride home. If you're not there in 20 minutes, then we're going to start looking for you.
And as it relates to ID, I know that you can get state-issued ID, but there are also a lot of programs that offer identification where you can get your child fingerprinted. I know my kids have little ID cards that they've gotten from a variety of free events that you don't necessarily have to pay for this.
Sure. In a lot of communities, a lot of children's fairs and Optimist Club, things that are geared towards children, law enforcement agencies throughout the country set up those fairs where we could get fingerprints from a child, or we can take samples of DNA, and the parents hold on to that just in case the child goes missing or is abducted, or have a way to identify that child.
And of course, during the summer, kids are out in full force, but this is the time that kids go back to school, and so you have even more obstacles because you have kids that may dart across the street trying to catch the school bus or anything.
This is the time that we're going to send out our message, you know, just the back to school message, because we'll have the children that are walking to school, we'll have the buses that are going to be stopping and they're going to be picking up the children on the way. And again, we want the children to stay on the sidewalk, cross at the lights. We want the parents that are driving to pay particular attention, especially when they're coming up to a school bus. Again, everybody's in a hurry in the morning, you know. Everybody's got that hustle and bustle and they got to get to their location. But, you know, slowing down, when you see that school bus, that the lights are starting to activate, it's going to prevent a tragedy.
And it is the law. I mean, leave a couple of minutes early, if, you know, to avoid that rush.
Plan accordingly.
Initially, police did not release this young lady's information, her picture. Why was that? Why did it take so long to release that?
Well, again, I can't, you know, speak for what the Roseville Police Department. They're a great organization, and I'm sure that they had their reasons. And again, I mean, maybe they were following up on some leads or doing that until such time. Again, the last thing you want to do is see your child on TV in an injury.
I can't imagine.
You know, laying in a hospital bed. So again, I'm sure they had a good reason not to release that picture until they exhausted all of their investigative leads.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Very useful information. And of course, we will try to put more information on our website. Again, that is WXYZ.com. Sheriff, again, thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.